Hi everyone, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching that earwax removal video today. Just one patient in this removal video. My goodness, this patient, the wax here is one of the stickiest waxes I've ever seen. It's almost like a glue or like a sort of almost a chewing gum kind of consistency. And I want you to think of it as that tacky. Imagine a very, very soft chewing gum that no matter what surface it goes near, it just adheres to that surface really, really well. And that's the sort of consistency we've got on this particular type of earwax. Now, the first thing we can see here, we've managed to detach a little bit of soft, dead skin from the outer part of the ear canal. We can see we lift that up and it's peeled up, and we can see the ear canal wall there underneath really, really well. You can actually see that ear canal wall skin coming away there. So I had high hopes for this ear canal. I thought this was going to be maybe quite an easy one. You're quite lucky sometimes when you get these bits of dry skin that have come away, and then the wax will come along with it. Unfortunately, in this case, yes, that was peeling away, but you can see it's really kind of holding on to that canal. Now I'm pulling this as hard as I can from the side of the canal wall using the suction, and we've got a really good grip here, in fairness, with the suction tube, and it's coming away, but it's really a case of peeling it rather than actually drawing it down the canal. So we've managed to lift a little bit here. I'm just going to work on this next section. You can see there's been oil put in here because as we lift, it's a little bit blocked by a cilia at the moment, but you'll see at the base of that main block of wax sitting behind, as it goes up and down with the lifting motion, you'll see that the oil actually squeezing out from that gap. So there is oil in here, which has helped. So goodness knows how sticky this would have been without the oil in there. So it's all coming away really, really well here. And as we're pulling this away, you'll see it's drawn the next section down. But you see what I mean about it sticking? Look at this, pulling this from the right to the left here, how the wax almost stretches rather than sort of detaches from the canal wall there. The difficulty with this wax, it's kind of the nemesis, if you like, for the suction tube, because when we're suctioning, when the wax is this soft, what's going to happen, a lot of it's just going to sit in the entrance to the suction tube, and that's all it's going to do, is just going to block that suction. So as we're pulling this down, what we're doing is, as we're pulling, like I said, it's stretching away from the main block, but that's all it's doing, is those stretched bits are getting inside the actual suction, the actual suction tube itself, and coating the inside of the tube. So we end up losing suction quite dramatically with this type of wax. Now you do flush that through. A lot of people say, well, how do you clean this out? We flush the little tube, so we have a pot of water which we flush through continuously. So we get to hear when the suction machine is straining a little bit more because it's not being able to pull enough air through the suction tube, and then we'll flush it through and then we'll go back in. But with this type, it just blocks continuously. Dare I say, it's probably one of my least favorite waxes to do, just because it's so time consuming. It's you seem to have to repeat the same thing over and over again. Patients do tend to feel a lot of relief though, because you imagine having a very soft, sticky piece of chewing gum stuck in your ear. It's going to block that sound really, really easily. Now, when you've got harder blocks of wax, there are little gaps around it which allow the sound through. We talked about a video before, the sound being able to pass down through those gaps and be able to stimulate the eardrum. When the wax is this soft and super sticky, like this particular patient's is, it's sticking to the canal wall, so you form a really, really good kind of acoustic seal almost. So it's really blocking and dampening that sound. Now you'll see that lift on the left hand side. Look at that dry skin coming away. It's peeling all the way back there. So not only do we have this kind of sticky wax, we've also got these dry strips of skin which the wax can also stick to. So just a difficult one to get out. Now I know a few of you are going to be thinking, why don't you just go in with a Jobson horn and pull that out? In this particular patient's case, they didn't have the best. They've been to places before, not had the best of experiences with a Jobson horn. I think because I think that the practitioner there just sort of tried to scrape it along the canal wall. So I try not to use the Jobson horn with this particular patient just because they're not a big fan. So if I can get away with just using the suction tube, that's exactly what we'll do here. at the end of the day, it is our job to get the wax out, but it's also our job to do that in a way that's most comfortable for our patient. And you really have to remember that your patient's comfort and their safety are your two prime concerns really when you're doing a wax removal like this. So if I've got a patient who's had a really bad experience with a particular tool in the past, I'll try not to use that tool. I'll try and use something different and give that patient a much nicer experience. So if we do have to use that tool, explain as we're going along. So you can see this large block just came away then. Just kind of stretched out the canal, so it's left another big block behind here. So I'm just going to try and give this a little bit of a wiggle. It's almost there. There we go. Out that's come. Now if we hadn't put the olive oil in here, then what we would have seen is as that tried to come out of the ear canal, it would have stuck to the canal walls. But look how lovely that eardrum looks. So this is what it looked, just a complete mess before, but look how that lovely and shiny and pearlescent eardrum is. Patient was so relieved to get that out. Now when we take a look at this side, not so much of an issue on this side. It's about a kind of a third full. So if I had a patient come through with this in their ears, what I would say is, look, you could go a little bit longer if you wanted to without having the wax removed. There is some in there, but it's not really blocking the ear canal at the moment. But because this patient suffers with this particularly sticky type of wax, they do like to get both through, even if there's only a little bit in there, just to get both done at the same time. And you'll see this one hasn't really been treated with that much oil. And you'll really see here how this is holding on to those canal walls there. Really kind of holding tight. You'll see the layer of skin, so you've got that sticky wax on top, this layer of skin peeling away underneath here as well. You can actually see little blood vessels there under the surface of the skin as well. So I've popped a little bit of olive oil in. Let's see if we can give this a bit of a helping hand. Now as soon as we get this skin detached, I think this thing's going to come out as one plug. So I've tried peeling from the bottom, not really working too well. So let's pull down from the top now. That seems to be working a little bit better, but unfortunately it's just broken that top section away there rather than pulled the whole thing out. So let's go back in now. A little bit of a wiggle, oh, nearly. A little bit of a wiggle on the sides here, just trying to really loosen. If I can get this last section, you can see that section at the bottom there. If I can get that away, I think the whole thing is going to come away really well. Let's see if we can peel from the side down instead. You're looking for the end of this peel. That's what I'm doing here, is keep peeling, and you're looking for that end. Have we detached enough to be able to pull this out? You can see this is fighting back here. This does not want to come out. So it's broken that away. I think looking at the movement there, we may be able to get this time. That top section is certainly a lot more mobile. You can see it's much freer in the canal. A bit of a wiggle. I think that is that going to hold together, or is that going to detach? A bit more of a wiggle. This is what I mean about being stuck now to the outer part of the ear canal. It does not want to come away. Look at me trying to pull this out. There we go. So the whole thing, I think, just came away. Let's just take a look behind. Oh, a little bit just trapped in the entrance of the canal, but I think that should be pretty loose. Yep, there we go. Out that comes now. And we'll take a look behind that. You can see a little bit of dry skin there, with the eardrum itself looking really healthy. So this is what it looked like beforehand, and this is what it looks like after. So much different ear canal. This is what we moved. Now, I didn't purposely try and make this look bigger by spacing them out. These things were so blinking sticky, I couldn't get them to stick together without sticking to everything else. So they just sat where they sat. I got them as close together as I possibly could. So if I squish this down, I think we're looking at probably about 5 centimeters there, about 2 inches thereabouts, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again real soon for the next video. Bye, everyone.